Cool. Hey, everybody. It is Wednesday, the 27th of September, 2023. This is Plutus PBL live coding from Gimbalabs on Damio, Odin, and friends. We get together every Wednesday and Thursday to figure out how to build stuff together. There's a free course online at plutuspbl.io. It's right here. And you can find all the registration links. It's the same link every time, so you can bookmark it too. But you can see a calendar of upcoming events and an archive of everything we've done since March. Today is an open session, so we will be looking at topics of everybody's choice right here, and then choosing what we want to focus on. Tomorrow is the second in our series of 3 live lessons from Mix about Plutus in module 302. So remember, we're keeping this open structure for Wednesdays and experimenting with the live lessons on Thursdays. So that's coming up. But how's everybody doing? Whoops. How's everybody doing? And what should we focus on today?
Another weekend of Knicks. Yeah, another weekend of Knicks. I want to know, my question is do we know anyone over there at Knicks? It was actually a really great thing, like a couple of new people that I didn't know. Zeta North, and it seems like 2 other people.
That's
along
Martin
with my
right here.
That's me.
That's who is that?
I'm North Zeta.
Oh, Martin. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. All right. Well, thanks for all your help this weekend. And it seems like a few others were sort of in on trying to figure out Knicks, and really, it was great because I'm sort of new, and it felt like a real school kind of study hall where more experienced users were sort of helping along and pushing us along, even though finding issues themselves. So Faizan and I were going through some stuff and trying to get that working, because we use that Nix prompt in a couple of different spots, and I think we're using it farther on, in the latest 300 level modules. So that's what was sort of going on, and I'd love to possibly dig into that or offer that as a suggestion for breakout.
Yeah, discovering what a channel is was like, oh.
Right. Right. I mean,
I was on a really old channel, which was already not supported.
Ah.
That could be a nice one.
So
what's a channel? Yeah.
It's like, okay, that can give issues.
Yeah, I like that.
One of the things that I discovered was and it was one of the first sort of facing things, is whether to do a multi-user install or a single user install. And if you do a multi-user install, it will put a Nix binary. Like if you do a which Nix command, it'll show up in your root etc file Nix, and you get a Nix config file. But if you do a single user, it will be in your home directory, not the root directory, and it goes in a profile thing. But they handle the configuration, and that leads to problems, because if you try to follow some of the tutorials, they have this config set up. So anyway, that's my thing to report, is like, among several Nix-y type of stuff, but I feel a little more, I'm actually a lot more confident with it now.
That's I'm diving into the Flake stuff, because you can manage your whole system with Flake, apparently.
Yeah. I think that's just sort of how modern, especially when you just get to these big projects, repos, where they have all these dependencies. and it seems like the blockchain folk really use the Nix OS, now the whole Linux distribution of, they have their own sort of thing that uses this philosophy of kind of, yeah, thing in there. But my thought is maybe we can find, I don't know, I like the idea of like, if this is a school, like, talking to the horse's mouth, like going and seeing some like Nix maintainers, people on their discussion boards and saying, maybe invite them to maybe a playground meeting, or, let them know. I know at some point we were encouraged to like, sort of say, hey, we're working with the Plutus PBL and Gimbalabs and Damio, on various discussion boards, the Cardano Stack Exchange and the Cardano forums, but then also on all these tools, like on the mesh framework tools, as we go through and learn it. I think that's how a good vibrant ecosystem sort of develop as communities of learners. Yeah, so that might be something.
100%. Keep in mind that any expertise we develop here can be added to the course as anybody sees fit. If you need help with the technical elements of adding content to the course, I'll be thrilled to help anytime, because you guys are building up an incredible knowledge base. Alex has been embedded in the Nix community, but we should ask him if he can get somebody to come support us like that, Newman.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I know Alex.
That's a really good idea. Faizan, can you brief us on what the specific struggle you were having was too, so we can add it to this list? Because I think this is starting to shape up to be a really nice, we could look at a couple things that Martin learned. We could look at multi-user installs and ask Adrian and Mix for some advice there. And then with Claudio, we could look at why this is not working now with the PPBL starter.
So, am I audible clearly?
Hey, Faizan, do you have a different mic setting? We're getting the noisy one for some reason.
That's a bummer.
No?
Nah, it's still pretty bad. It sounds like the gain is just really high. If you can just turn down the input.
A few weeks ago, we were trying to pull some GraphQL data and try to show that up on. We never really finished that, and I'm still trying to do that on a personal level. So I didn't know if that had good time to be able to pull data and show it on the front end.
Absolutely. And Ruben, I can just send you a couple of links to repos that give you an example of that too in the background. So if we don't have time to get to that today, you can at least review the code. But maybe
that'd be great.
Thank you. Some of the Nix stuff. Yeah, you bet. If we get through some of this Nix stuff, maybe we can finish by taking a quick tour of some of that stuff. Faizal, oh, it's so loud. I'm sorry, man. Here, just type it. That's the Linux issue. Okay. No worries. I'm sorry that's not coming through. Can you just paste an error message into chat or into the Miro too, just so we have that and we can look at it together? Thanks. And Demi, good to see you. Hey, so I don't know, what do you think? I could argue for starting from Claudio's error message here and then generalizing to some bigger topics, or vice versa. Where do you think we should start? Troubleshooting number 2, or just taking a little look at some concepts maybe Martin could drive?
I could do 2, just to be like, because I'm sort of deep in Nix. So a nice little refresher. And I think I've come across that one, the SecP 256K. Yeah.
Claudia, are you set up for screen sharing today?
Um, can you?
Here, let me unshare over here.
Hello. Yes,
Hey.
listen, I mean, I like to learn more about Nix too. So if you guys want to go into Nix, I have no problem. I mean, this is not really urgent. Seems to be a problem with the starter repo that Frederick used in his tutorial a few months ago. He's using very old version of Plutus apps, you know, and that's already two versions ahead. So I think that might be causing a problem. So it might be an idea to update the repo to make it compatible with what we can use now. You know, especially if you want to use the emitter run that is not working with this, you know.
That's right.
So I think we should fix that at some point. That's what I'm saying. Now, if you want to go into Nix, I'm happy to, because I've also been learning Nix. It's very nice. And it took me an awfully long time to find a place where it had all the right configuration to get it running. It shouldn't be so hard to find. You know, it should be something more quickly available. I have a link if you guys want to. Maybe we should put it somewhere in the documentation. Let me share that with you just in case. The Nix documentation.
Yeah, that would be, yeah, being
Okay,
able to update.
I'll put my Nix conf that I found in the chat if anybody wants to look at.
Oh, cool.
That's what makes it work. It took me a long time, especially here, the system part, the extra platforms, because I'm using macOS with Apple chip. And you need to get this to get it working. So my Nix is working. Now, the main problem, you know, there's an inconsistency in that we're using Nix because it's reproducible and should work everywhere the same. But the real problems we're having, I've seen, is with the Cabal projects. And Cabal is not working the same everywhere because the different repos have different versions of the packages they want to use. And it creates chaos because the IoT people seems to be moving functions from one module to another. And then what works in one version doesn't work in the next. And you had to be, ad hoc reconfigurations to keep things going. So that's a problem with with the started repo I'm having. So I tell you what I did. I was trying to go with the 301. So I took the new starter modules and I put them into the template repo that was working well. So I managed to compile and play with that in that context. But I cannot get the original starter repo to work. So I wonder if you guys want to see that and see where we can get it sorted out. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea, and it does two things, right? We definitely ought to update the course, and we can do that in real time, as you point out those spots. But even once the course is updated, this is a scenario that people are likely to hit, right? You want to use somebody else's contracts, maybe there's an old version. And so if we have a little video documentation of updating there, I think that's really cool.
So let me do, where do the screen share? Okay, share screen. If you want to do something, I had to restart my Zoom to share a screen because it's a new setup. So sorry, I leave for a second. Is that sharing now?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So the problem is here. Okay, so I was playing with the template, but I'll leave this. So I'm in my Nix shell, and I'm going to change to the PBL starter template. Next one more. Okay,
Okay.
so now if I get into this, so I need to be in the next shell. So I have another one here. This is my next shell.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Okay, so I was in the template. Now I should go into the PBL. Start. You see, we can do the standard. I was wondering while this compiles, when many of these, I mean, since Nix offers apparently the possibility to keep things updated with dependencies changing and all, but it's possible to move more things from the Cabal description to the Nix configuration things so that they keep automatically updated, right? Because the Cabal is nice, but it's very bureaucratic. You have to modify bits by bits all the time. So I wonder if we get more proficient with Nix, we can probably move things more to the .nix setup so we can get things going automatically. Okay, so the Cabal repo.
Okay, warning. Seems like I ran into that. Like it's requested index state is newer, falling back to an older state.
See, that's one of the problems with these Cabal things, which are fixed in time,
Totally.
and they get into these sort of little issues.
I didn't realize how old this current version of PPBL Plutus starter is running v 1.0.0 alpha 1.
Yeah, I saw you. It's a
It's
couple
a
of
few
versions behind.
Yeah.
And the problem is that the IoT people, when they release a new version of Plutus apps, they move a lot of files around. So, you know, some type or function that is in one module moves to a completely different one, and then everything collapses and you had to rechange change things. I had to do a couple of those things to get it to work in the template setup. You know, some make and type validator function, stuff like that.
Claudio, it feels good to know that you were also struggling with it because that was exactly what I was doing. And I'm just at the edge of perception of like what is going on with it. And it was really, it was an adventure in the foggy, scary forest, as we say. Were we the ones talking about the scary forest the other week? But that's what I felt like. I felt like a baby.
Well, you know, I feel on the one hand, it would be nice if it was all nicely, smoothly set up so everything runs like we've been doing mostly till now. But this is, you know, starting with this is also part of the learning experience we should all have. Like this is reality, right? You are going to develop a project, you are going to bump into these kind of situations, like it or not. So you see, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And the problem is that I find this library. And the version is there, so there's a problem, I think, within the Cabal setup that it does not reference the right path or something. I couldn't figure out where to fix it.
Okay, so part of the good news here, and Adrian Mix, interrupt me if I go astray. But part of the good news here is that this is such a rudimentary starter template that we can just change the Plutus apps checkout without too much cost. right? So there's a few different ways we could tweak it. But I think the best thing to do in this case is just to change which branch of Plutus apps we're pointing to.
Yeah, actually, that's correct. And I should remind you guys that if you check out your Plutus app to a specific cabal.project of a repository, for example, in our case, it was PPBL 2023, I think, because it was compiled, no problem. And that checkout of that Plutus app inside cabal.project is different than this project right now, this repository. Therefore, it will cause problem. This is another limitation of Nix. So if you build or if you want to use a project, you have to stick with that cabal.project of that repository. And if you want to change it, you have to exit the Nix shell or Nix develop, checking out that Plutus apps, and again, building the whole Nix again, which actually create a lot of stuff. So eventually, maybe, I mean, in my case, after just 3 different checkout, 3 different Plutus apps hash, my Nix just surpassed 120 gigabyte of Nix store. So for each time, it's like adding 30 or 40 gigabyte of hard drive inside your system. So yeah, this is very inconvenient, I know. And also tomorrow, actually, the lesson is all about this, how to update it. Like imagine you just have this project and you don't have access to anyone and you want to update it. You want to just upgrade it. Rest assured, things will change and break and you will find yourself very annoyed and frustrating. And of course, asking, yourself that why did I choose this? But it is a natural thing. The breaking change happen. But tomorrow, I hope I can show you that how you can just upgrade or update an old project or old Plutus, and how to deal with all this breaking change. But yeah, and I think this issue here is we have to just we have 2 options: whether to update the cabal.project of this repository, like PPBL Plutus Starter 223, or coming out of Nix entirely, checking out new hash or new tag or all these things, and again, building the whole Nix again, which again, as I said, it will be around 30 something gigabytes of Nix store.
And some minutes too.
Yeah, exactly. It will
So
take
right,
some time.
first, should we just check what version of Plutus apps is checked out right here? And just make sure that the project file matches that and see if that makes any difference.
Well, tell me what to do and I do it.
So if you, for a minute, leave the Nix develop shell in this
You
term.
can just exit. Let's type exit here.
Yeah.
Exit.
So that got us out of, the Nix shell.
I'm in the Plutus app there. Okay.
Now type git status. So did we get the hash?
Oh, we're on main.
Oh yeah, we are in main. So yeah, you need to check out one of those projects. I don't know which one you can choose.
The tag. I used I thought it was an
Tag.
instruction to use the tag version.
Git
And then you had
checkout.
to-
Git
Huh?
checkout, then the tag. Git checkout, then you will type the tag.
Okay.
No, not the tag. The tag itself, like 1.0 something,
Right.
not the word tag.
So,
Oh, okay.
so in the
1.0.
starter that we were trying to run, yeah, exactly. It's
That's
put
the
a
one.
V in front of that. It's v1.0. .0-alpha 1.
Okay, so now I should give it a try to get into Nix again.
Yeah, and here we don't have Nix develop, unfortunately. You need to type Nix-shell. Nix develop
That's
happens
probably
after
not going
this.
to work.
Right.
It will take some
So,
time.
because I mean, I tried them. Let's see, with the other Plutus apps, I cannot use Nix develop. The Nix shell got stuck somewhere, some package.
So now the only option we have is just updating the that repository, that project.
right, because this
Updating
might
the-
take a prohibitively long time right here
yeah,
too.
Yeah,
there's nothing common. As I said, I mean, if it was convenient, it is 30 or 40 gigabyte of space. In my opinion, it is not good trade-off. So just updating that would be better. And of course, they're dealing with some bugs. And, as Claudio said, exactly, there are functions, just, I don't know, for some reason, they just go to some other places. And yeah, we have to just deal with that. But at least we are saving some like big resources from ourselves. Tomorrow, maybe this would be a good idea to check it. Like tomorrow, I'm going to create a Plutus project from scratch, like how you can just start it from zero. And then we can just take this repository and update it and see how things go. Sorry, Martin, Faisal, I'm seeing your hands. Martin, go ahead.
Like, what is the difference between v1.12 and the other versions?
Bluetooth apps version?
Yeah, Plutus apps.
Well, they are releasing, I mean, as they call it, stable versions. So, I think you know the versioning. We have these three placeholder for numbers. And the thing is, if you change that, for example, we saw this, the number was 1.0.0. So we have minor changes, which would be the third place. Like, for example, 1.0.1 would be the minor. So we don't have breaking changes. And if there are some major changes, it would be like 1.1 point something.
Yeah, I get
Again,
it.
we should not have breaking changes. I mean, according to the clean codes, all sort of stuff. But if they change it from 1 to 2, yeah, it is acceptable to have breaking changes.
No,
But in my experience,
because like version 1.2, if I type Nix develop, it's like 5 minutes and it's installed. But if I have 1.1,
Nix shell,
it doesn't work with Nix develop. Nix shell takes like
for some reason,
half a day.
Martin, I don't know exactly why, but Nix develop is around for several years. It is not like very new, but for some reason, the Plutus developer team chose to use Nix shell. But after some time, they just like upgraded themselves, and they are now using Nix develop. And just it is the matter of configuration and all sort of things related to Nix language and flakes and all sort of stuff. So they just upgraded from Nix shell to Nix develop, which actually maybe they could do it from day one, but they didn't. And from that version, yeah, we have Nix develop configuration files. So if you just run Nix develop in older version, Nix will complain and say, hey, I don't have any configuration file, so I cannot build your Nix. I have Nix shell configuration file. And in newer version, you cannot run Nix shell, which actually for my case, for some reason, if I run Nix shell, my system create all this documentation locally, very good, no problem. But inside Nix develop, my documentation is not complete. It is there are many things missing for some reason, and I don't know. I've just told them, the IOG team, and they said they will fix it or figure it out. So yeah, the thing is, inside the Plutus apps, if we just check out these things, the configuration file for Nix develop and Nix shell will be exist, or it exists or it doesn't.
But yeah, next to having documentation, there's no drawback to using version 1.2.
Unless you build your whole smart contract on that version, yeah, it would be better
Ah,
to go to use a newer version. But once you start your project, it would be a better idea to stick with that version. Because as I said, as again Claudio mentioned, changing this function. Changing function means changing the hash of your contract, therefore changing the address of your contract.
yeah.
So just checking out these different repository, or this different hash or tag, actually it means your whole smart contract addresses are different now. So it is a risky thing as well.
Yeah, I will stick with 1.2 for now. That works best for me.
Actually, for us, it was this hash James posted here. I went to above that as well, but for the most people, I just post that hash again in the chat.
Yeah,
You guys
that
can
one's my
check it out.
go-to.
Because this hash can work on Windows, on Linux, on Mac, and all sorts of things. And the reason, for example, for some people couldn't use the newer hash was Lipsidium. There are some conflict which we don't know, to be honest. Newer hash cannot build some crypto, like the library calls Cardano crypto. It doesn't build for some reason. We don't
To
know.
Newman's question, many many Git checkouts have like a readable tag like v1.0.0. But this is just the hash of a Git branch. So it can take you direct to a nice stable branch. And this is the one we've been using a lot.
Yeah.
Any reason not to update the course to just rely on this hash for now?
Not too well. It takes some time, because there are some functions like they don't exist in some libraries, and maybe we have to just change it. But we can just update them. I don't think. And again, in my opinion, it would be better to just, changing the hash and sticking with that instead of supporting different hashes, which should be expensive. So maybe tomorrow we can just upgrade as much as repository we know with this hash, with this one, and
Because we're looking, tomorrow you're going to show us how to just build a project from scratch.
Yep.
Right, and then we can look at, after we make short work of that, yeah, we can look at a few updates that need to happen. That's really cool.
I had a question.
sure.
Will the Aiken tool chain eventually replace this whole Nix setup? Because I've worked with Nix for years now. It's still a pain in the ass. And I'm guessing that tool chain is going to be much more efficient. From what I understand, you can get up and running super fast.
Agustin is here. Maybe, yeah. Would you please take this question, Agustin?
It might, but it's hard to know. And there ultimately might be reasons for both to coexist, which in an idealistic sense is probably what we want anyway, right? Is a plurality of tools that people can pick and choose from.
I think ultimately what we want is to get up and running fast.
Yes, a lot of people will want that, right? But other people might want to emphasize kind of the cutting edge development, say for integrations with Hydra as it rolls out. And so if, for example, Plutus TX makes it direct to integrate with the Hydra contracts because they're written in Plutus TX, Whereas Aiken makes it easy to get up and running fast. A dev might have to choose between those for the time being, right? And those circumstances might change. That's just an example of a pattern that may continue to happen. Agustin and I were talking yesterday. The dev experience in Aiken is really, really good. It feels really good to get it up and running. It feels really good to build a contract for the first time. But the documentation is hard to sift through for how exactly do I apply parameters correctly to a validator? How exactly do I serialize a datum in the way that a contract written in Aiken will expect it, right? So it's still kind of early days with some of that. And the Aiken docs show you how to do those things if you want Lucid to do those things for you. But if you want to build your own system to do those, it can be a little bit of a headache to run those steps. So, right, that's a trade-off right now.
I appreciate your input. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Aiken. It would be really good to be able to start at that point, because to write some essential logic in Aiken, it's a great experience.
I played with it very little, but it's been very nice compared to all the other stuff I played with in the whole ecosystem for the last 3.5 years.
Yeah, I hear that.
I think I can release a major release as well, right? A major.
Oh,
No?
like
They're working on tutorials and documentation now, from what I understand.
Because, guys, we have to, again, be careful about the versioning with Aiken or Helios option and any other language as well. So if you want to use Aiken, just stick with one version and do. And of course, you can update it, but again, remember, updating means changing some codes, therefore hash and address and all sorts of stuff. But I think I'm not sure, but I think it can release a major version, so it's a stable version. I mean,
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm curious. Could we bump over to Faizan? If Faizan can share his screen, like he may have a like a different angle at this issue. I'm loving the conversation.
Yes, please. This is taking a long time, so I'll report back when this is done if you want. So,
yeah, exactly.
Please,
Yeah.
also, Claudio, if it doesn't work, don't worry. Tomorrow we will figure out how to.
No, I'm
optimize
not
and just
terribly
look
worried
at it.
because this is an old version, and it's only for this particular template, which is very limited anyway.
Yeah.
So it will not have a major implication. I was just wondering, what were the policies where we should update the things, we just leave them as they are and keep on playing with something new. It's whatever you guys want to do. It would be ideal also if you could fix there's a problem when you want to run this on Demeter, so you don't have to worry about Nix taking forever to download and load your machine with 40 gigas. That we can there's a problem there with the Haskell package that has a duplicated module, which is something trivial to correct. It's just to delete one line, and somebody in IoT has not bothered to do it. So that we cannot run this on Demeter. So that, I mean, it would be nice to have that fixed because it seems so trivial anyway. Because it's nice to have also the option of Demeter it may be somewhere else, and you can always access it online, and it's very, very practical. So,
but I don't know. Can we change the version inside Demeter ROM? Demeter?
No, it's not a problem with the meter itself. The problem is that when you want to run this on Demeter, one of the packages it refers to is some Haskell package package that has a duplicated the module declaration that I think you pointed it out. You throw it in the chat a few weeks ago, and they haven't fixed it. It's something that has been spotted for months and nobody has fixed it. So you cannot run this starter template on Demeter run. because the meter run doesn't allow you to play freely with versions. You know, they give you the Cabal
Yeah,
and the,
yeah,
and the Nix and everything as they see it, probably with the latest version, hopefully. So you cannot fix it. Either it runs or it doesn't. Basically. So we had to fix. There's a Nix there's a .nix file that has to be fixed somewhere for that to work. Anyway, if someone wants to share, you guys want to share something else, you know, this is taking forever. So just watching code run is not fun. So please do.
I'll update us later that do we have the shell here or not. But yeah, let's see how Phison is doing.
Guys, sorry. Hey guys, I do have a question about
So do stop sharing and you guys see.
hello guys, can you hear me?
Hey, Demi. Yeah.
Oh, Jane. Okay. Hi, James. Hi, Sebastian. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I have a question. I'm not really familiar with other smart contracts tool chains outside Plutus, and so I struggle with identifying which components are interoperable between Helios or Plutus and Lucid or Mesh for transaction building. So I don't know which one can I work with Lucid on say Helios and Plutus or Mesh? You know, I really don't know which ones are compatible, interoperable with on-chain tool stack.
Part of the answer to that question depends on how far along the smart contract language is in development. So different people might give you a different answer as to whether or not you should use Helios on mainnet yet. Okay. But that aside, supposing that all of the languages we're talking about are ready for use on any network pre-prod, tested for mainnet, etc. No matter what smart contract language you use, it's always going to compile down to CBOR. Okay.
Yeah.
And once you have that CBOR, no matter where it came from, you now need to build transactions to validate against that. And those transactions can be built in any number of tools: Cardano CLI, Lucid, Mesh, your own bespoke tools, and the list could go on. So just recognize that bottleneck there, right? No matter where you're building the contracts, you hit your compilation target, full stop. Now you get to apply those to your off-chain code.
Oh, I see. Thanks.
Mix, do you recognize this error?
I'm facing this error whenever I run the next shell command. After 1 hour, I'm getting this error.
What is the checkout, Phison? Plutus apps that despawn the Nix. I mean, would you just exit from this shell and get a
No,
status?
no. It's getting
okay.
terminated.
Oh, okay. So what is the checkout? Would you please? Git status, yeah. Okay, so this one failed, right? If you want to try this one. But
So,
have you
Sure.
tried other? Have you tried other checkout as well, like newer, like this checkout link? You know, the one that actually we posted in chat. Would you please do this? You know, then I'm going to post it again in chat here. First, but first, do this git pull, so we get the latest update from the repo. Yeah. and then git checkout, then this hash.
Oh, okay, it says, okay, you got it, yeah, put main, okay.
Git checkout, no, git checkout. Yeah, you already pulled that, it is updated.
Well, no, it said you're not currently on a branch.
Okay, so git checkout main first, git checkout main. Now updated. Previous head position, yeah, yeah, just git pull.
Yeah, that's it.
Enter, yeah, enter. Okay, so it's updated. Now git checkout and this hash. Take this hash, just git checkout and then this hash. Okay. And now instead of Nix shell, type Nix space develop. Yeah, run it. So if you get the Nix develop for this, if you get Nix shell for this, you kind of need to forget about Nix shell. For some reason, there's that error. I'm sure we can spend some time for figuring that out. But if this Nix shell works for you, you just need to update whatever branches you have or whatever project you have to that hash. And by tomorrow or tomorrow, actually, we will update all the repository as well. So we just update all the repository in Plutus PBL. So you guys don't need to just stick with the older stuff and facing all these errors. But yeah, but just let's see, does this work for you or not? And for maybe a rule of thumb, if you have Nix for some time, maybe you can do this garbage collecting Nix after some time, like maybe 4 months. It depends on your development, like how much development or how much you are running Nix and stuff. But it will delete the old packages or the unnecessary one. But it will take some time again to build the next Nix shell. But it would be better. Like it will just clean this stuff. So if we face this issue again, the next step would be Nix store garbage collector. So we will remove all maybe the problematic or half downloaded packages, or those Nix store packages, and then we will start fresh.
Yep. And using this Nix develop, so after this will complete, the Plutus app will be going on, right?
Yeah, you can you have the Nix shell, but some projects like the project right now we have, they are using old hash, old tag or Plutus tag. Therefore, you might find yourself like you might face some problem. But in the actually, as I saw in Claudio, he was on main, so he was on the latest changes. And inside the Plutus, inside the PBL 2023, that repository, which tomorrow, I post the code, the code that we will talk about tomorrow is inside that repo. There was no problem. Like it was compiled and no problem. So working with that repo, most likely no problem will occur. But about the repository, Claudio was also some issue. Yeah, probably we will have issue with that. So you can just stick with this hash for some time. But once we update all other repository, you don't need to worry, but you don't need to just downgrade to other tags or hash. But let's just hope this thing works. And together we can have some dopamine party, Nothing just compete with this satisfaction feeling of fixing a bug and things work.
Yeah, If there were no bugs, we wouldn't be satisfied with squashing the bugs.
Yeah, we got just sometimes addicted. Like we purposefully create a bug and fix it and just, getting happy.
Sometimes I think that my teachers are doing that, and then I
Yeah,
know
exactly.
I know they wouldn't do that. I know they wouldn't do that to me.
No, we don't. But suffering like makes people to be more friendly toward each other.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, mutual suffering makes people more understanding. I don't know, for some reason.
Oh man.
And
So
go ahead, Faisal.
so in between, I press Control C, terminate it. Then the storage, the data which I have downloaded, will be deleted or not?
No,
Oh.
it won't. It won't. It will be
What?
inside Nix store. And as I said, if you suddenly in middle of downloading one of these packages, Control C or canceling this Nix, building this shell, you might end up with corrupted package, and that would actually cause a lot of issue. How to deal with that? How to just get rid of that? Nix store -gc, which is garbage collector. Or you can write just whole garbage collector as well, and it will remove all these corrupted packages, old packages, old thing. In again, in ideal situation, but if you deal with some really stubborn corrupted packages, yeah, you have to just completely uninstall Nix and reinstall it. So yeah, it is not a good idea to not only just Control C, but if you, like in my case, sometimes I face poor network connectivity. So the package takes a long time to download. And for some reason, that will again corrupt the package. And I have to again fix that. So yeah, there are issues regards to this. And I just wanted to point out, Newman, about your question regards to single user or multi-user. I just was searching. I wasn't sure actually. I personally, when I am inside a machine and I know that I work with this machine and no one works, I tend to download or install all in multi-user. So just differentiating. And if I want to install single user, I would try to install it as a root, not as the user under my name, especially with something with Nix. But if you install that under root, you have to just, all the time put, for example, Nix develop, you have to put sudo Nix develop, or, all these things regards to Nix, you have to do it on sudo. But I saw something which was actually interesting to me, that I saw a comment that actually single user is semi-deprecated. I don't understand what this semi-deprecated means, but someone was asking, what should I choose? And another person from Nix community was saying, don't use single user, single mode installation, because it is semi-deprecated. So yeah, I hope I answer your question.
Yeah, thank you. I did the multi, I'm thinking back on it, and I did the multi-user, and I don't want to spread fear, anxiety, and doubt, but it may have been like downloading something or whatever, but it just pegged my processor in my computer. So like I would turn it on and it seems like it was running a bunch of processes or doing something. And just my computer just, went full blast and it wouldn't stop. And I was just like, I was scared it was just going to blow up, literally. And
but have you done it under root? Like, did you put sudo behind running that bash script?
I don't think so. And I might try that with the single user, to try to get the Nix binary in the root folder and the etc etc folder and in the root, because that seems like it might go. But then it may be that, you know, like something else was making my computer go crazy. But I installed it that way and then uninstalled it because it just wouldn't. It just didn't seem necessary for me.
I see. But yeah, the safe bet or safe option would be multi-user.
Yeah.
For example, what do you mean your system got stuck? Like you cannot even move your mouse or something?
The mouse cursor is not moving.
I don't know what happened, but
Yeah, this same issue I was facing before also in Nix shell. After some point, the system got stuck in between and it got terminated. Means the system got restart automatically.
how much RAM do you have, Faisal?
I have 8 GB of RAM and 4 gigs of graphic card.
8 GB would be enough for installation, because in worst case it will take 4 gigabytes or 3 gigabytes or something, but I don't know, to be honest, what's going on. System is talking in this situation. Yeah, normally it is RAM. Like in Windows, we just face the blue screen, right? If you guys have, I think we all of us are, you know, like older school people, so we are familiar. But new generation, they don't know what the blue screen is actually. Blue screen, sorry. So I think it would be related to RAM. This system is talking, but the only option would be just, you know, resetting your system. But if you want, we can wait for a couple of minutes. Maybe things back on, like maybe there is this compilation you see, then it takes some time, it takes some resources from your system. But how much, what was that, paging? I forgot the name. You know, adding a portion of hard disks. So if your RAM gets full, Linux will use that space of your hard drive for that RAM, like that extra. I forgot the name of
the swap file.
Exactly. I don't know. Do you know, Faizan, how much do you have of that? Normally, it is the good idea to just make at least half of the RAM, but if it is same as the RAM, would be better.
No, I don't have an idea.
So if you face this issue later, it would be better to increase that one. If you can increase that one, add in more hard drive, storage space to that, and then would be much better.
If you type fdisk-l, you can see the swap file.
Yeah.
Pardon, which command?
fdisk-l.
Oh,
This system is
I will
stuck,
send
but
you.
if it is, if you have another terminal, if you can run another terminal, actually we might look at your process, like what's going on with that.
I sent it in the chat.
The cursor is not moving. That's the issue.
Oh, yeah, nothing moves in this system. So I think you need to reset your system, for example, if it is this case. I don't think Zoom is resource hungry, by the way, but you know, maybe has some relation to it.
I was wondering that too.
Yep. Okay. I will just reset my system.
Okay,
and give it
just
to you.
take your time. Reset your system.
I can share while Faizan is doing that, I can share what I did, and it seems like I got to a good spot. So if you guys, if you don't mind,
Yeah, that's great.
All right. So I started out here somewhere, but you know, like figuring out, just putting in this command and it tells me I'm on main. And then I did this command.
No, sorry, Newman. You are
Yeah.
not on main. You are on 1.10.
Oh, okay. So those are the two. So
Yeah.
are those the two available branches? Because at some point that was,
No,
that's what I want.
there are more branches, but for some reason it doesn't show all the branches, but it shows what branch you are actually right now. And actually, after this command, you execute git checkout main, and just after that you switch to main. So you were on different branch and just you switch to main.
Uh-huh.
And I should, by the way, guys, I do really highly recommend, do not build Nix, develop shell, whatever on main. So have some, because if you build on main means no tag, no commit. You don't know what would be. So you cannot replicate your Nix again. You will lose this. So you have to be on something which you can point it later, aka commit hash or a tag.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's good to know. Next I did this pull and nothing was there on main. And then I checked out this, which is the hash of the
It points to a history of that repository, like, hey, bring me or give me that repository in that time.
right. So what did that tell me? And then it said head is now at this. And oh, see, I didn't do a pull here. Like I could have done a pull and that might have changed, but anyway. So, and this is the thing that I always have to do. It tells me first I need the Nix command feature, experimental feature. And so then I put this in and I get
You can just get rid of that if you edit your Nix config file. And if you add into that Nix config file a command like something about this stuff, you don't need to just every time, type in that.
okay.
So
And
Nix config, can you find it? It
so,
would be inside etc. Normally it is inside etc. So in root etc folder, and then there is this Nix folder, and inside the Nix folder there is this file.
yeah. See, I think this has to do with the single use. Like I don't have one of those. It seems like all of my Nix stuff is in this profile.
You should be good if you just add it yourself.
Yeah, just create. You have this Nix.
And
create a folder inside etc called Nix. mkdir. So you can do it in terminal. You don't need to go somewhere.
Let's see.
Just cd dot slash. Okay, cd etc now.
And then maker.
No.
Inside
etc. Inside etc. Yeah, mkdir Nix. Okay, sudo. You have to do it. Sudo.
Oh, thanks for doing this. That'd be sweet. Okay. Okay. I'm in there, and then I don't know. Just cd. Boom. Okay. Conf.nix.
No, sorry, nix.conf.
Ah.
Reverse.
Damn. What's the one where you can do sudo for like a set amount of time?
Sudo with O. S-U-D-O.
Oh. Okay.
There is a configuration. So if you do sudo, it won't ask you a password, as you see for some time. So I think there is a configuration for that, but I don't know if there is a command for that. By the way, again, you need to do with sudo. So if you want to add something to this, would be better because we might not be able to save
Oh,
Nix config.
sudo code.
Code.
Does that
Well,
make
you know, let's try it out. Maybe we can save it here. So I'm just trying to find my configuration, but I don't know if anyone have good configuration. Just please post it in chat.
Yeah, it won't do this. It won't do the save thing. I need to change. I think I need to change the permission of this
Do you have
file.
another editor? Are you familiar with Vim
Yeah, I
or
don't have
Nano?
Nano. I can do Nano. Let's
Okay,
see.
sudo
So,
Nano, then this one.
bing, bang, boom. Okay, cool. And if you've got a, if you could put that in the chat, it would be sweet.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to paste it in chat. And this is my configuration, but you can add a lot of stuff to it if you want.
Okay.
And you need to change something inside that as well. So just copy paste this one, but you need to change this trusted user from my username to your username. Let's see.
Yeah.
What is it? Note ref that and I don't know.
Oh,
Oh, I think
is
did
this
you
it?
copy
Oh, this is it. Yeah.
in the chat? Yeah, I just paste the configuration.
And I'm gonna run it through a text editor really quick, so we don't get any weird shit out of that. Because I'm not as familiar. And I'll change the. Can you see this?
Yeah, we do. Okay, so now you need to change that my username to your username. The username actually yours. And that's it. Just copy paste this one into the nix.conf file and save it. Save would be Control X, I think.
Control X, okay.
Control X, and it will ask you yes, modify yes.
And then
yeah, yes, enter. So now just
let's just check it. Okay, that looks good.
Okay. So now you can you need to close that terminal which you were running your Nix or Nix command, and again running that. Although you can run with the source, but in case of Nix, I think it would be better to just you are in Nix. Well,
yeah. So I can quit out of this and try it again.
Yeah, and exit, and it won't ask you again those experimental whatever.
Oh, right.
So well, just type Nix develop now, and you will end up in your shell.
Space develop.
Yeah, exactly.
And will it download and do all the crazy thing, or will it just do it?
No, they are actually those substituted trusted party keys. Those are links which once you want to run or build your Nix, it will query those places. They are banks. Like they are database of all these packages which Nix use in order to, build your shell. So sometimes some of those links works for some people, sometimes doesn't work for some people. Sometimes they are down, sometimes they are not. Therefore, it would be better to have several links or several places. So if, for example, it couldn't found that package inside cache.nixos.org, it would search it inside cache.iog.ioe and
Okay.
so on. So yeah,
Look
those
at
are
that.
those extra feature. There are something that we just added. I'm not that much expert on them, like what they are doing.
Okay.
And the trusted user, in some cases, it will fix some bugs. So it is a good idea to add that, the last line, trusted user.
It's down here.
Yeah, this one. Sometimes you might face some problem, and if you just add this thing, it would solve your issue. So yeah, congratulations, Newman. You have your next.
Yay! All right, all right. Now what?
And now if you want to have local documentation of all these codes,
Yeah.
there are all these commands. You can see at top there is this build doc. If you
Yeah.
run that, it will take a time. It will take, I don't know, maybe 10 gigabyte or something. And it will create locally all the documentation of the
Cool.
codes or the libraries. In my case, it was built incomplete, but maybe for you guys would be
Right.
complete. So,
Now where? Yeah. Well, I'm also in the zone of trying to like clear out stuff. Like, would I run the garbage collector here in the shell or on my
no, outside of shell.
Okay. Okay. And then here we do the cobble.
No. Now we will go to that repository, like which repository we have. If you like the project, for
Oh,
example,
yeah.
PBL 2023 or PBL starter template or package, all different project, different Plutus project. You need to go
Oh.
inside the repo.
Well, where
Inside
am I?
do you have anything? Do you have any repository?
Well, just the starter, but where am I? Is this my root? I
No,
think this
you
is.
are inside actually Plutus apps. The problem of this Nix develop, it
Oh.
doesn't tell you where you are, but you are actually inside your Plutus apps. If you, yeah, and now you are, maybe you are now, for example, in desktop or something.
Well, okay, let's see. Am I changed? Ah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm on. This is so you can find interesting. So if I cd back into Plutus apps. Okay, okay. Huh. But then don't we run
About
run
update?
yeah, okay, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
We don't do that here. Don't run it, because you will run all the things regards to Plutus apps.
That sounds like a guy who's done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
When I hear
Actually,
that, I was like, oh shit.
and
Don't
not
run
just
it.
me, actually, Adrian, he ran Cabal update outside of Nix shell. So he is the veteran here. So he has some war story he can tell you about, like 8 hours. I don't know how long. Adrian, how long it took for compiling that repo out of Nix? 8 hours? 12 hours?
A long time.
All right, okay.
You just feel the suffering out of the voice of it, So yeah, you need to run Cabal update inside the repository you want to work on.
Yeah, okay.
What is that repository? For example, PPBL 2000 Plutus template, which I just saw that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Martin.
I would like to have like a project and then import like the flake.nix from Plutus apps. So it's always stable because that sounds more in line with the philosophy of Nix. So that you can really just send somebody the folder and then just Nix develop. And then you don't have to do CD Plutus apps, check out the right version, and then you mess up. It's like
that's been Alex's goal for a long time as well. And he's been experimenting with the new IOGX template. Adrian, have you played with that one?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't touched it yet. So I know we're at time. Faizan's got to run. I don't know if anybody else has to step out now. But like stepping back and looking at what we're doing, right? This is not a good look right now, right? We could see why people wouldn't be attracted to Cardano development. And so there's the ongoing question is like, hey, should we all just learn Aiken? Another question is, how can we update the course to make it as painless as possible to get people into Nix? Because we're not doing a good enough job yet. We can be proud of the attempt we've made, but the proof is right in front of us, right? This step is still too hard. And so however we can be creative with when and how Nix is introduced in this course at all. I do think for people who get it working, it's a pretty incredible set of tools, but if it's doing more harm than good, we have to be honest about that and think about it. So something to think about over the next few days, and hope this course is moving into that stage of being a community resource. So as everybody here has ideas about how to address, this is a hard, sticky problem. I don't know what to do about it. And it's really frustrating, but something for us to figure out together.
Okay. I'm glad for the opportunity to go through it. Yeah, but yeah, it's sort of like for the people that have gone through it and we turn around and help the other ones, but then we also have that responsibility to be like, stop, just like that sound in Mix's voice. Don't run that command, wait, don't do it. Do it somewhere else. So yeah,
Tough. But keep playing with it. I wish in a way I didn't have the experience of it being so delightful to build in Plutus once these systems are set up, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's great, but it's a pain in the ass to get there. So we have to be real about that. So Augustine, before you go off air, shout out for the Aiken lessons are published. That we didn't announce it yet, but if you go looking for module 303, you can find that. That's going to be an ongoing path of exploration for us. And let's be open to whatever direction we end up learning over the next few months.
And I hope we will have some live lesson regards to Aiken as well. I personally would love to see it. I would love to be, having another options like learning, being again a student. It would be really amazing. Again, struggling how this tool chain works, all these things. So yeah, let's check this out.
The lessons are great there, and obviously they're a starting point. We'll keep going deeper, but they take us up through the faucet project.
Yeah, that's great.
By the way, were you able to run the faucet unlocking transaction yet with the compiled script from Aiken?
And me, no, I haven't compiled the faucet yet, neither the minter.
Okay. So I figured out a nice workflow for compiling each of those. And it's actually a beautiful, elegant compilation experience, but I still haven't gotten the treasury validator to work because I think I'm not serializing the datum right. And so there's all these little gotchas, right? It's
Yes.
easier to get started with Aiken, but it's early in development. And all that struggle we were just having with Nix, that's what I'm going through right now with serializing datum for an Aiken built contract, right? So no matter where you go, you're going to find roadblocks. It's just the best we can do for each other is document it when we figure it out and keep lifting each other up. So
Dig it.
Yes. In this case, the icon blueprint command was released a week or 2 weeks ago.
yeah,
so
the helper is really nice. That UI is great. But here's a challenge for you. You ready? It has no checks right now for whether I use the policy ID of the token in my parameters or the CBOR serialized version of that policy ID, which is really just the policy ID with a couple of characters concatenated to the front of it, right? But no matter which one I use, I can get compiled CBOR and I can get what appears to be a valid on-chain address. They're different from each other. And it's kind of hard to figure out which one is the one that's actually going to work. So and there's documentation already for how to go straight from a parameterized validator in Aiken into Lucid. That's fine, right? So anybody who just wants to use that stack, be locked into it, they can run with that. But I haven't seen a way to support people to go from Aiken to playing around with Cardano CLI and then out to whatever off-chain toolkit they want to be using.
it's a challenge for us, and maybe if we can figure out a way we can contribute to the communities. So because like I said, these commands are very new, have weeks. So maybe we can figure out something
100%.
about it. And about the Aiken experience, I don't want to say anything about it. Just do it and evaluate and see how does it feels to you.
Okay.
I like that. Cool.
Dig it. Okay, I'm looking at it now. Maybe after lunch. Okay. Peace out, y'all.
Cheers,
Thank you.
everybody. Hey,
Thank
for
you,
everybody
guys. Thank
watching,
you all.
we're here every Wednesday and Thursday, 14:30 UTC. Drop by if you want to. We're going to keep learning and figuring stuff out, making fools of ourselves together, but it's going to be glorious when we get there.